What's up, y'all? So I guess I'm doing a day in the life of what it's like actually being a commercial real estate agent. I do a little bit of residential, but most people know me for doing commercial deals and whatnot. And let me tell you before we get into this field is not easy. This is probably one of the hardest sales jobs that you could probably get into, and let me tell you why. Number one, when it comes to being in this business, you don't get paid consistently like, let's say like you do life insurance where you can get paid pretty much every single day. You make a couple $1,000s or whatever. And this real estate in real estate just in general, you already get paid commission, and you have to have sales deals close, which take 30 to 45 days sometimes. Well, commercial, you have a little bit more leeway. You can do leases, but those still take, sometimes about 30 days, 45 days to close. Also, sales, typically when you're dealing commercial, the volume and the amount of money that a lot of these deals cost takes a very long time to close. So when you're doing these lease deals and these sales deals, and you're doing great, but you're getting paid big amounts in increments, right? So number one, those increments are taxed, and then also not every deal closes, right? So not every deal closes. So when every deal doesn't close, you still have to pay these bills when it comes to occurring new listings, paying office fees and whatnot. So when you're not necessarily working for a big company like CBRE or any of those big brokerages or whatever, I'm not really sure how they operate, but when you're working for smaller companies, you have to pay for listing stickers. Every time you get a new listing, or you're somebody like our team, we have a lot. If you guys look us up on CREBROKER, you see we have a lot. So our bills, our business bills, whether we get paid commissions or not, we're looking at paying like almost $1,000 a week in fees, whether we're making money or not. That's just, commercial listing signs, and I'm actually going to show you guys in this video. But that's what commercial stickers, commercial listings, paying to get photos done. Drone photos are around $200 to $300. So just think about, if you get 5 listings in a week. Last week we got 3 listings in a week. Do the math on that. Also do the math on, the signs. The signs costing typically $100 per sign or even more. Then you got to pay like $150 to get the sign installed. So I haven't even gotten to the desk fees yet. So, typically, when you're working with a commercial brokerage office, you're paying like typically $150 to $200 a month in desk fees. Which I'm saying, that's not a lot when you're making money. But when the market is super slow and you're not actually actively closing deals every week, it's a lot of money that you're coming out of pocket, let alone, so in commercial doesn't work it does work kind of like residential, where you do have to, people have the option to pay to be a part of the Association of Realtors, National Association of Realtors, where you're paying like $400 a year. Well, in commercial, to be a part of, the big branded commercial MLSs, you're paying a couple $100s a month, typically $300 and up, and that's per commercial MLS. So, it can get very expensive very fast. So typically, most of your day is pretty much consisting of driving, doing meetings, trying to get new deals, trying to make something shake, and then also riding around, putting up new stickers, new listing signs and whatnot. I actually would say, if you think about doing this, have your money ready, because this is getting expensive. Like, commercial real estate is actually one of the careers where you're pretty much you're spending money every single day before you even see any type of profit or any gain. And like I said, guys, these expenses or before we even get to, whatever your bills are for your personal life. So, and also you're in this business, you're working nonstop, making calls, trying to follow up, trying to get deals closed. And then, so these are some of what the signs look like. So in order to make this cheap, you got to get them in bulk. But even then, something like this costs $300 plus. I got a little discount and got it down to $200, but it's still expensive. So your day is consisting of making a lot of calls, trying to set up a lot of meetings, trying to go on listing appointments and whatnot. But for the most part, I highly recommend, if you're gonna get into this business, you definitely have money put aside, or you maybe come from a wealthy family or whatnot. because this business will make you go broke super fast. And especially, a lot of commercial agents who tend to live off of, lease revenues, even like, when it comes to getting paid for a lease, a landlord could take 30 days, possibly even 2 months to pay you out for a lease. So, your income is very inconsistent, even if you're doing the work, unless you're like actually doing sales, which take time. Um, for the most part, you're broke. So, and also, I'm making this video because most commercial brokers are broke. Don't get it misconstrued. You see people who they do the one-off deals for $5 million, $10 million. Well, what you don't see is that for the past like 2 years or a couple of years or so, those people weren't selling anything. So that 200,000 is pretty much covering all their bills and debt from the past couple of years of not selling or doing anything. And then also, don't even let me get into brokerage splits. Also, if you're going 50-50 with an agent who's managing you, it's all type of stuff. So commercial is very interesting. But shall we continue? So this past week, I've been on go, making calls, getting to it. But I myself, I took this career on when I was in college because it was a way that you can make lump sums of money and you know, pay on your college debt and, kind of travel the world or whatnot. But when it's slow and it hits you hard. I highly recommend, if you get into this business, definitely have money put up for sure. Also, probably have something else going on because not everybody enters this business when it's going really, really great. Um, me and my team have been lucky to, amass like several listings almost every week, but it gets very, very expensive fast, especially when the commission checks and the cash flow's not coming fast enough. But it's worth it, once you get your big lump sum check. But I highly recommend, you start this business, off into this field of real estate. Definitely want to have other streams of income coming in. I'm kind of lucky because I got other business ventures, and also have investments and whatnot. But yeah, commercial real estate, it can either make you or break you. A lot of people don't last. People say, people tend to exit insurance, but I tend to say a lot of people exit commercial real estate because it's not salary based or anything like that. It's all you're working literally for like 6 to 8 months without no paycheck. That's just the reality of it. So yeah, let's talk about the good things. So some of the good things when it comes to being in this particular business is you know, when you amass a certain amount of deals, like me, I have like a lot of deals that are lined up to close. So I could potentially pull like a 6-figure check within the next few months. But the downside of that is, just waiting and also finding out ways to make supplemental income while, because, the bills don't stop regardless. Personal bills don't stop regardless. So, yeah, but, it's pretty much, what it's really like actually being a commercial real estate agent. Um, it's not really the best, but it's not the worst either. Uh, but it's definitely a grind. It's definitely a grind, especially if you didn't grow up, with high net worth individuals, and you're actually out here grinding and working your way to it. It's not like where you're just selling a product on the street where you talk to 100 people a day, you'll make some sales. Well, commercial real estate, even if you call 200 or 300 people a day, uh, your property more likely is going to take at least 20 to even 90 days to close. Or let's say, there's other factors when it comes to, getting paid by a landlord if you do a lease for them and whatnot like that. So, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I feel like I should start doing more commercial real estate content because people don't really touch on what it's like being in the commercial real estate aspect of real estate outside of the residential. Now, the residential is hard, but I tend to think that, commercial is probably a little harder because it's not for the weak. I'll put it like that. It's not for the weak at all. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope this was helpful, especially those who want to possibly pursue a career in commercial real estate.